Hi, we are on day 23. I've actually taken a 5-day break between the last video and this one. It's been hectic. There were bombings at night, which meant that I couldn't sleep. And I woke up the next morning feeling very tired, which threw me off of my entire routine. It was just a success to survive the day. So, that was the baseline for the past few days. But I am back because this makes me happy. And like 4 people are probably going to watch this. So I wrote down what I said I was going to talk about last time. So I'm going to do that. It's about lowering your tolerance for pain as a woman. So emotional pain and physical pain are basically the same thing, because they produce unpleasant sensations in your body. So women they pride themselves on having a high threshold for pain, for things like their period and childbirth and so on. But that same phenomenon is taken advantage of, where we are expected to also put up with more emotional pain. And we just subconsciously accept emotional pain. And this looks like staying with a partner that doesn't make you happy, accepting extra work at your job that you shouldn't have to do, or being asked to make the coffee or stuff like that, where you're not being respected at work. Or having an unpleasant dynamic with somebody or with your friends or whatever, and you just tolerate it, you keep accepting it, you just put up with it, you're just suffering through it. And what's happening is you're having unpleasant sensations in your body, and you've become numb to them. You don't notice them because you just expect to have them, or they've become part of the background noise in your brain. For example, I have been quite good over the past week about drinking 2 liters of water every day. I've been hydrating well, actually drinking more than 2 liters a day because I've been going to the gym. And I was doing well. But yesterday, I had a change of scenery. I said I was having a very low energy day, and I didn't drink much water, maybe just 2 glasses of water. And so by the evening, I had a headache. I went to sleep. I woke up today still having that headache. And I realized that this headache is related to me not drinking enough water. And I was just thinking to myself that ever since I can remember, being a teenager in my 20s and my early 30s, literally until this year when I learned how to drink enough water, for myself, I've not been drinking enough water. So did I really go through my life, through 20 years of my life, having a headache and not even being aware of it? Right? That's very unfortunate. That's such a sad situation to be in. And I'm just thinking about the cognitive load of something like that, how all of my decisions would have been compromised, how my thinking ability would have been compromised, how my enjoyment of my life would have been compromised by me not drinking enough water. So, physical pain or emotional pain shows up as physical pain, and physical pain causes emotional pain. And the whole thing is linked, and it's basically the same thing. They're not even linked. There's the same thing. It's distress. It's a distress signal. So women have too high a tolerance for pain, and they're being taken advantage of in society because of this. So as women, what we need to do is to lower our tolerance for pain. It's a very important thing to do if you want to reclaim your femininity, if you want a life of ease, if you want a life of joy, if you want a life of comfort. You are going to have to give up your attachment to this martyr complex that has you suffering pain in silence and just on for extended periods of time, to the point where it's been years and you're not even aware of it anymore. And how are you going to do this if you're not even aware of it anymore? You're going to hit certain baselines, as I said, right? You're going to fix your sleep. You're going to hydrate well. You're going to eat food when you're hungry. You're going to go to the bathroom when you feel the urge. These things are going to help. And they will dramatically increase the sensitivity that you feel in your body. After that, you will start to notice more sensations, like I don't like the feeling of a cold on my feet when I'm barefoot on my tile floor. I don't like the feeling of coffee in the morning. It makes me feel jittery. I don't like the feeling of this feeling after eating, and I feel kind of like heavy or bloated or whatever. And you'll want to go for a walk. Like, it's crazy to me how many times I have felt anxious and wanted to cry, and then I would get up and literally just walk from one room to the next, and I would burp and I'd be happy again. So it's crazy that that's all it was. And yet I had catastrophized so much in my mind because what I was experiencing was a physical distress, and then my brain translated it into some kind of emotional distress, and I found something in my life to be depressed about. And all I needed to do was to just walk a little bit after I'd eaten my meal so that I don't have that feeling. So things like that, but they will come in time as you increase your sensitivity. What happens after that is you will then start to feel it at the emotional level. So if you're having a conversation with somebody that's uncomfortable or unpleasant, you will notice the tightening in your chest. You will notice the physical symptoms of that pain. You will notice the distress. And what you have to do at that time is draw the boundary and refuse to tolerate it the same way that you refused to tolerate physical pain. I can no longer wear heels or tight clothes. I don't wear a bra most days because I don't want to tolerate physical pain. And that has led to my tolerance for emotional pain being reduced very dramatically. If somebody is indirectly putting me down or playing games or disrespecting me in some way, I don't have the tolerance for that anymore. And because I have become used to advocating for myself, right? When you're taking care of your body, that's what you're doing. You're advocating for yourself. You are recognizing that, hey, after a meal, I need to go for a little walk. I need to drink this much water in a day. I need to eat at these times. I need to put myself to bed at this hour. So you've become used to advocating for yourself, and you have established a baseline of trust. That your relationship with yourself has become rooted in self-respect and trust. So then, when you are suffering emotional pain, that skill maps here as well. You advocate for yourself in the same way. You find that you don't become very angry or very reactive because you have become used to solving your problem. You trust yourself and you know that you can get this done. So you'll be able to say, without raising your voice, without getting upset, I didn't like the way that you said that. I didn't appreciate that you did that. When you did such and such, I felt neglected. You'll find the vocabulary for these feelings as well.